Welcome to the Masters of Mindfulness series on a personal note. I'm Monica Ortiz, and on today's show, we're going to talk about a key to the universe. We all know keys unlock doors. Right now, you have a key on your key ring that unlocks a specific door and allows you to enter a room, your house, your car, or your office. What about your life? Are you aware that there are certain keys that you can obtain to unlock the doors to your best life? We're going to talk about one of those keys today, the universal principle of complete honesty. I remember I did a lecture to a group of college students, and when I spoke about the universal principle of complete honesty, one of the students chimed in and he said that I sounded like his parents, who were always telling him not to lie and to be honest, and he was tired of hearing it. So you may also be sitting there thinking that you don't want to hear me talk about being honest. But stay tuned and listen for the next few minutes, because this show is going to tie into another show I'll do called The Keys to a Happy and Balanced Life. We all want happiness, right? Who doesn't want to be happy? Okay, back to my original story. Maybe that student's parents didn't explain to him the importance of being honest and what honesty actually means for your life. So I'm going to explain it very gently. It isn't that we should be honest for the sake of being honest or for fear of reprimand. Reprimand sucks, yes. So why don't we stop and step away from it for good? The universal principle of complete honesty, when you understand it and practice it within your life, will allow you to live a life of freedom. Freedom of reprisal, reprimand, or punishment. Freedom of regret, anger, and bitterness of mistakes with ourselves and other people because we've been being dishonest and we've been found out. Living in complete honesty will allow you to stay out of the mental pitfalls of paranoia, resentment, and bitterness, which is not a place that any of us should want to be. Why would you want to live a life filled with looking behind your back all of the time, wondering if someone is going to discover the truth of one of your lies? Worried that someone won't like you because they've discovered you're not the person you said you were, or being worried about being fired from a job because you lied on your resume to get the job. Here's a story. I have a friend, let's call him Bob, who was working in a job that he didn't particularly enjoy. Bob had been at his company for about a year and wanted a better position with better pay, but his company wouldn't give it to him. So he decided that he was going to look elsewhere. He reworked his resume to include his current position and began his job search. He continued searching for about 3 months with no luck at all. He then went back to his resume and reworked it once more, but embellished it quite a bit. I warned him that he wasn't doing himself any favors because he didn't have the actual skills he was putting on his resume. He told me that he knew other people who had done that job, and he had watched them, and he believed that their job wasn't actually that hard, so he felt he could do it. Well, the false resume worked, and Bob was offered a job in a management position with a substantial increase in salary. He was so happy and excited for himself, and he started making plans for what he would do with all of the money he would be making. Within 2 weeks of starting that job, he realized the position was over his head, and he began to worry. In an attempt to learn the new position, he began reading management books to gain some knowledge of how to perform the job successfully. He made a tiny bit of headway, which he felt was just enough to continue to fool his bosses. He was still overwhelmed with the work, so he began skipping lunches and spending longer hours at his job to try and make sense of his workload. He quickly discovered that he did not like his new job. He was always stressed out because he knew he was in over his head. His team began to miss deadlines, and when any of his team members would ask him a question pertaining to the assignments they were given, he would verbatim quote something out of one of the books he read, but because he didn't understand the application of it, he didn't have the right answers for them. Bob wasn't leading his team, and they were slowly figuring it out. 3 months into the job, one of his bosses pulled him to the side and questioned him about a few of the missed deadlines. Instead of choosing the route of honesty, he continued to lie, which raised a red flag with his boss. Bob knew his job performance wasn't up to par, yet every paycheck he received and the growing fear of being found out was enough for him to continue the lies, and he did. Bob didn't know it, but the boss that questioned him about the missed deadlines prior had kept a close eye on him, and within 4 months of his start date, Bob was called out on one of his lies and fired. He was crushed and confused about what he was going to do next. He was afraid his chances of finding another job, a good job, were slim. He and I had a long talk, and I explained to him that he needed to start again. Go back to his resume and rewrite it with complete honesty and pursue a job that he was skilled at. I suggested that before he spent the time to rewrite his resume, that it might be a good idea to be honest with himself about who he is and what he really wants. If he wants a better job, getting the education to do it well would benefit him. Then the skills he put on his resume would be something that he could actually do. Bob learned several lessons from his experience. While he thought he wanted a better position and a large salary, he learned that a management position wasn't right for him. The level of responsibility of having people looking to him, meeting strict deadlines, and being responsible for the whole team's work stressed him out. So, Bob learned he wasn't management material, and that's not a bad thing to learn. Not everyone is, and that's okay. We are all different and all capable of succeeding at different things. Bob also learned that he enjoys his free time, doesn't like to work 14 hours a day, and also work on the weekends. Bob told me that he had missed his time with his friends and family and discovered that was important to him and that he didn't realize it before, but he had taken that time for granted. He learned that lying not only got him fired, but it made him feel bad about himself. He had lied before, but had never really given it deep thought because he had considered them white lies, which he only told to keep from hurting someone's feelings. So Bob went back to the drawing board, was honest with himself about who he was and what he wanted, and then rewrote his resume. I'm happy to say that within a couple of months, he found a job that he still enjoys doing. And he still enjoys his time with his family and friends. Complete honesty allows you to stay in the place of knowing who you are at all times, the people you're in relationships with, where you are at in those relationships, and where you're actually going. It keeps you from looking over your shoulder or worrying about who is going to catch you in your dishonesty. Practicing complete honesty isn't just for when you're talking to other people. It's also knowing yourself, knowing who you are and keeping true to yourself. It feels so good. Of course, we should always keep on working on our evolution because growth is important. Be honest with it. Remember, the universal principle of complete honesty starts with honesty with yourself, and it radiates outward from there. Complete honesty keeps you having and building solid relationships with the people who are in your life, people who know they can trust you and rely on you. It keeps you from regret of mistakes made because you weren't honest with yourself or others. You see, we all have regrets, but once we begin practicing this simple universal principle, regrets lessen, anger subsides, bitterness dissipates, and we are all able to be truly happy. Remember, there is no such thing as white lies. I had a client ask me about white lies, and she said, "Monica, what happens when a friend asks me a question and I know if I tell her the truth, it's going to hurt her feelings?" I told her that it's still better to tell the truth, but not to tell it with harshness. If you know the truth is going to hurt someone, then tell it with love and tenderness. Be delicate and try to give them understanding of the truth. Be encouraging and show them a way the situation can be better. Help them cope with it. You don't have to speak the truth in a harsh way. It will serve you in so many healthy ways to tell the truth and keep everything out in the open. Your friend will respect you for it, and you will respect yourself for it. Keep the respect for yourself and your actions flowing freely. Thank you for listening, and I hope this made sense to you. So be sure to stay tuned because I will do the video soon, The Keys to a Happy and Balanced Life. I want to end this show today. I knew that I was going to be talking about complete honesty today, and yesterday I actually got an email that I'd like to read to you because it pertains to this show. Hi, Monica. Thank you. I remember reading a short ebook PDF you wrote, which was how I first found out about you. The way such a short book resonated with me surprised me, and at some point I cried. where your book mentioned lies. For some reason, that wonderful feeling I had while reading your book didn't immediately translate into actions. On the contrary, I have to say that my life went on more or less the same. But the part about lies stuck in my head, back there somewhere. Now, about lies, I'm not a con man, a fraudster, or anything like that. And yet, for some reason, lying crept up in my daily life as a tool to cope with discomfort or avoid it altogether. I traced it back to school times when I wasn't the best of students, and I started lying to cover up my school failures as much as possible. I was lazy, and I just wanted the problem to go away quickly, at least for the day. Little did I know that, 1, instant relief would be paid with larger discomfort at the end when the truth inevitably emerged. 2, using lying as a tool is dangerously addictive and leads to suffering and fear. Only recently, I have rediscovered truth as a habit and how powerful and liberating it is. I'm not perfect. After so many years of lying, I still fall into the trap, except that now I catch myself doing it. But mostly, and more, I succeed in telling things how they are, even when a truth is difficult to say or hear. Yes, there might be an awkward moment, but then it's freedom and peace. It all started with you. Thank you. That email came across yesterday, and it was really, really important for me to read to you today. And I hope that you understood its meaning as well as the meaning of the video. So, thank you for watching. Have a great day. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at support@exceptionallifeinstitute.com. If you want to learn more about us, you can go to our app, Masters of Mindfulness app. It's both in the iTunes Store and on Google Play, or look at our website at www.exceptionallifeinstitute.com. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.